Hey, what's up guys, Deadly Crab here, and today's video I'm going to be breaking down laning phase a little bit more and how you can understand your lane matchups to better help you win your games. So if we lose our lane, either one of two things happens. Either we die to a gank and they snowball from there, or we don't understand the matchup correctly and we play it wrong and then lose the 2v2. So learning about where the jungler is and not dying to ganks is a whole nother concept that I'll probably go over eventually, but we're not going to focus on that today. We're going to mostly focus on the other reason that we might lose lane, and that's understanding the matchup. If we understand our lane matchup, we're able to take away these useless deaths or useless trades that can put us behind a lane and really hinder us later on in the game. So in our 2v2 matchup, each lane has strengths and they have weaknesses, and what we want to be trying to do is not allow our opponents to play to their strengths, and then if we allow them to not play to their strengths, we can look to play to our strengths. But before we try to push our own lane advantage, we want to make sure to deny them their lane advantage and what they're trying to do. And to be able to do that, we need to understand what they're trying to do so we can prevent them from doing that. And then we also want to try and understand what we're trying to do as a lane so that we can try and push that after we've prevented them from pushing their own strength. So to do this, we need to be able to identify each lane's strengths so we can play around them correctly. And to break it down easier to help you manage these lane strengths, there's going to be 4 different types of lanes. The first type of lane, and usually a pretty common one, is a trade lane. And what these lanes are trying to do is continue to trade with the opponent. And by continuously trading over time, they're going to build their advantage that way. Usually champions that either A, have a good trade or have sustain built into their kit are going to want to be doing constant trades. So for example, champions like Sona and Nami are very good trade lanes. They have an ability that's going to output a lot of damage, and then they also have the sustain built into their kit as well, so they can heal up after the trade. Varus is another good trade champion because if you auto and then E, you're going to proc your W passive and usually out damage the opponent in that trade. The next type of lane is going to be a poke lane, and champions that want to poke consistently are going to be champions like Zyra or Karma. A lot of Karmas like to max Q, so they're really strong at poking. And then Caitlyn is a good poke champion because she does outrange all of the other AD carries in lane, and she can continuously harass them with that range advantage. The third type of lane that you're going to be looking at is a catch lane. And what a catch lane is some sort of ability that can be used that doesn't necessarily mean you're physically going all in. So for example, Morgana Binding is a really good catch ability because you can cast it from range and you're not physically going completely into the fight and committing yourself to that fight. Usually catch lanes, the objective is to not do much unless that ability is hit. So like Morgana again, for example, if you're playing AD carry with a Morgana support, you usually just want to kind of hang back and chill until she hits that ability because that is your win condition for the lane. Other champions that have good catch potential is Thresh with his hook, and then Rakan is a good catch as well. Even though he physically goes in with his W, he can quickly dash back out for a nice quick engage. And then the last type of lane is going to be an all-in lane. And these lanes, like I said before, is when you physically, your champion is moving all the way in and committing to the fight. So examples of this are going to be Alistar with his combo. He is physically completely committing himself all the way in. Leona is another example, and then Tristana is another good all-in champion as well. Now sometimes duo lanes can fit the mold for 2 different types of these lanes, and usually those are the very strong, powerful lanes. For example, Xayah Rakan is a very strong lane because they have a lot of catch with the Rakan, and then they have the all-in potential as well with the Xayah W and the feathers. So when looking at a lane matchup, what you want to try to do is look at the opponent's lane and identify what they are going to be trying to do to win their lane. So figure out what their strengths are and then play away from those strengths. If they want to trade consistently, do not trade with them. If they want to catch, do not get caught out, because that is an easy way for us to lose our lane. If we're letting the opponents play to their win condition, they're probably going to end up winning. So number 1 is don't let your opponent play to their win condition, and then after that we want to look to play to our win condition. The reason we want to do this is because if we're trying to play to our win condition first, it does give the opponent the opportunity to meet their win condition and then potentially beat us in a 2v2. And it's not a very consistent way for us to win lane, and that's the big thing about solo queue, is that we want to be consistent, and a big part of that is making sure we're not dying in lane, making sure we're getting all of the farm that we can get so we can always be impactful in the mid and late game. Alrighty guys, I hope this information here was helpful to you. If you have any questions about matchups or anything, feel free to leave a comment, or if you're on the NA server, feel free to add me in game. I'm always down to talk about matchups or give pointers or tips to people. If you're not already subscribed and you enjoy the content here and want more information about tips for AD carry or the meta, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. But until next time, good luck with your upcoming rank games.